Hey there, Care Blazers. Welcome back to the place where we talk about everything dementia. In today's video, I am excited to share with you an activity, it's a therapy actually, that many dementia professionals use to help improve the mood in those who have dementia, improve behaviors for those who have dementia, and help improve the relationship between them and the person with dementia. So if you have ever felt like you don't quite know how to have a conversation with your loved one with dementia, it feels like it doesn't really go anywhere, that your loved one's not interested, this therapy that I'm going to share with you today is going to help with that and help increase the bond between you and your loved one. If you're new to Care Blazers TV, welcome. I'm Natalie Edmonds, a board-certified geropsychologist, and I post videos every Sunday for family members loving and caring for somebody with dementia. So if you're interested in improving yourself, which will then improve your loved one with dementia, hit the subscribe button and join our community. We'd be happy to have you. All right, so let's dive in. What is this magical therapy that I'm talking about that will improve your loved one with dementia and also improve the relationship you have with your loved one with dementia? Well, it's called reminiscence therapy. Reminiscence therapy is a treatment that helps tap into well-learned memories from your loved one's past, from when they were a child to a teenager to maybe early adulthood. And this type of therapy not only helps with mood and behaviors, but you could take advantage of this type of therapy and apply it to difficult situations. And I'll tell you how to do that later in the video. But if you're ever struggling with some of the difficult tasks of toileting and bathing and leaving the house and those kinds of things, I'll let you in on a clue for how this type of therapy could help make those more difficult tasks a bit easier. Because reminiscence therapy taps into memories from their past, it often gets your loved one with dementia smiling and laughing and talking and sharing things about their past that you may have never known about before. So we know in dementia that earlier memories are affected. So they are not likely to remember what happened to them yesterday. They are more likely to be able to remember what happened to them 40 years ago. So that's where this comes in. You want to focus on finding topics to talk about that are from their past. So I'm going to go over some general guidelines for how to use this type of engagement with your loved one, and then I'm going to go over specific examples so you can really get an idea of what I mean and how this would look for you and your loved one. First, you want to choose a topic that is from their early childhood, adolescence, or early adulthood, and hopefully a topic that you think would bring up a lot of positive memories. These tend to be things like their first car, their wedding, their first job, family holidays while they were growing up, their favorite music and bands when they were growing up, these types of topics. So you want to choose a topic that will likely have a lot of positive memories. And second, if you want to try to find things around the house that you could use to help facilitate the conversation. For instance, if you're talking about their first car and you have a picture of your loved one with their first car, or you just have a wall calendar with a bunch of antique cars, this can help facilitate the conversation. So not only you bringing it up, but using some props that you might have laying around the house to help jog their memory and give them a visual reminder. Third, you want to engage with them. You want to ask them questions about the topic, and you want these questions to try to hit on as many of the 5 senses as possible. And if your loved one has mild dementia, you certainly want to be using open-ended questions, because this will get your loved one to open up more. It will allow them to just see where their memory takes them, and you might be surprised to find out what your loved one has to say. If their dementia is more moderate, you may find that you need to incorporate more yes or no type questions or close-ended questions. Let's use a specific example to help give a better idea. For instance, with the wedding, you could find an old picture of your loved one from their wedding day and bring it to the kitchen table and sit down and show it to them and say, "Tell me about this day. This is a beautiful picture. How was your wedding day? What was the weather like? What songs did you dance to? Who were your groom's men and bridesmaids? What types of flowers did you have? What about the cake and food? How was that? What was the weather like? Where did you get married? What songs did you dance to?" Any questions whatsoever that go along with the theme of the wedding. You could ask where they went to on their honeymoon, those kinds of things. And if you don't have a picture of your loved one from their wedding day hanging around, it doesn't mean that you can't use this topic. You could easily go to Google, look for old wedding day photos, print off an antique wedding photo from the internet, show it to them and say, hey, Mom, check out this photo. Look how cool it is. What about your wedding? How was that? And that can open up the conversation from there. So don't let not having a specific prop deter you from trying out this type of activity. Also notice how the questions I brought up would have tapped into many of the senses. So just let your questions roll and hear what your loved one has to say. To use another short example, if you are caring for your father with dementia and your father liked old cars, you could find a picture of your father hanging around with one of his old cars, or you can print off a photo of an old car on the internet, or if you have a wall calendar with a bunch of antique cars on it, whatever prop you want, show it to your father and say, what was your first car like? What color was it? How did you purchase it? What did you do in your car? Where did you drive to? What kinds of friends did you drive around in your car? Where did you go in the car? What was the longest trip you ever took? Just let the questions roll off. These types of questions are going to open your loved one up and get them talking like they haven't before, because you're tapping into old memories. There are no rules to this besides tapping into a positive memory from their past. You could do this for 5 minutes. You can do this for an hour. You could do this for however long you and your loved one have that day, or you can do it for however long your loved one seems to be enjoying the activity. So give it a try, whether you have 5 minutes or an hour. Also, you could try using this activity right before you begin to do a difficult task with your loved one. So if your loved one really struggles with bath time or leaving the home, you could get them in a positive state of feeling by engaging in this type of activity and then move on to the more difficult task. This might help them be in a better place to participate in the difficult task that you want to do. Also, there are some workbooks and books that exist in helping to facilitate this kind of activity. A lot of them are called life review books. There's a book called The Story of My Life. It's actually a workbook, and it kind of takes you through different chapters of their life, gives you topics to talk about. You can use it as a scrapbook and add certain pictures and things like that, newspaper clippings. It's pretty cool. However, you can make your own. You don't actually have to go buy one. You can make your own and adapt it to what makes most sense for you and your loved one. And perhaps I'll do a future video on that if there's some interest in it. So I hope this is helpful for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know below if you give this a try, and let me know how your loved one responds. All right, Care Blazers, until next week, take care.